Hi, everyone. Welcome to Spill the Tea Radio, where we interview awesome singers, songwriters, and those who influence their lives. Spill the Tea Radio explores the journey, creativity, and inspiration behind the songs. My next guest is a singer, songwriter, and recording artist from Toronto. Her soulful vocals and indie pop sound defy her 20 years on the planet. She has opened for Juno Award winner Dizzy at the Golden Hour Festival and has played at the iconic Rockwood Music Hall in New York City and the legendary El Mocambo. She just completed her Stranger debut tour of Ontario and Quebec, and her single, The End Lies Ahead, has over 130,000 streams on Spotify. So, let's spill the tea with Siobhan Bodrug. Welcome, Siobhan.
Welcome to me. Yes. Hello. I got caught off guard. I haven't listened to my bio in a very long time.
Well, let's talk about that tour that you just finished up, because that's exciting to go out on tour. Is this your first tour that you've done?
I was at Seneca for Independent Songwriting and Performance, this program, and we had a class called Touring One. And in that class, we had to plan our own tour. That was the final assignment of the year. And it took me so long. And I ended up spending probably 6 hours on this assignment. And I was like, you know what? I've done all the work. Let's just book a tour for myself. And so that's when I decided to book the tour. And so a lot of the venues that I researched are the ones that I used for the tour because I had all the booking info, radio stations near them, all the places I could stay. So yeah.
So was the tour everything that you expected it to be? I mean, you have big fancy hotels, lots of riders, fruit, and your favorite drinks in your dressing room at the venues.
1000%. Yeah, 1000%. I you know what? I made so much money. It was crazy.
You don't have to work ever again.
No, I don't I don't have to work as a part-time barista anymore, I guess. I don't know. No, the tour, as a lot of musicians know, tours actually cost you more money than you make on the tour itself. But
Hmm.
I was lucky enough to go with my dad, and actually my grandparents decided to come along for most of the tour.
Oh, wow.
So we had a really fun time because grandparents didn't want to eat McDonald's every day. So so we go to nice restaurants here and there. So
What were the stops along the way? Where did you start? Where did you go? And where did you finish?
So we started in Hamilton at the Casbah, which is a really cool downtown venue in Hamilton. And then we went to actually my hometown, Prince Edward County, and we
Mhm.
played Parsons Brewery, which is a really awesome brewery, and they have like the best IPAs. And the third stop, this is kind of so those two were kind of spaced out a little bit, which was kind of a nice way to ease into the first tour. And then we went to Montreal, and and I don't and, oh, the venue was Esco Griff. It's also kind of downtown area. And then the next venue was Ottawa. And I hate to say it, I am Toronto girl proud, but that was my favorite show I've ever done was in Ottawa, live on Elgin. The next show or a couple of shows, I got to be a part of Summer Folk Festival, a part of their Youth Discoveries program.
Mhm.
So I got to have my own set, but also do workshops. So I got to I actually met and worked with Paige Warner, who's been on your
Oh,
show,
yeah. Yeah, Paige. Yep.
who I absolutely love. She's amazing. And it's really funny because her pianist is also her dad. So it was kind of a cool connection. Uh, then after that amazing weekend, we ended it off in Toronto.
So you went to some very popular cities for music, Toronto, Montreal, Ottawa. I've had many, many guests from the Ottawa area. What did
Right.
you notice? What were the differences and similarities between, on the music scene between those three particular cities?
I think like a big part of that is the crowds. A lot of the crowds, like all the crowds in those cities, were so respectful, and everyone wanted to hear new music. which was really awesome. And
Mhm.
so it was like we'd go and and people would talk to me afterwards and, like engage with what's going on and listen to the songs and tell me like, oh, like this song I related to the most. Like people really remembered your performance, which was really awesome. And I'm not saying that in the other towns they didn't do that as well, because there was the occasional one that would. But in the music cities like that, there's just this like respect, which
Mhm.
I absolutely love, especially when I'm playing as a musician.
You've been writing music for quite some time, prior to even going to Seneca. When you went through that songwriting program, what did you learn from that that you didn't know before? You said, wow, if I had known that before, I would have done things differently. Or how did it help you write music today?
These are amazing questions, by the way. You're making me think.
Thanks.
Um, I when I went into Seneca, I mean, and I'm going to admit this, I did have a bit of an ego. I was like, I know what I'm doing because my dad's a musician and I've been doing this for years or whatever. But you go in and not everyone likes what you do. Not every single teacher.
That's a
And
blow. That's a blow to the ego, isn't it? Not
yeah,
everybody likes
exactly.
what you do.
But you know what? I needed that, especially I went into that program when I was 18 and I'm 20 now. And so it was great. As an 18-year-old, that's what you need. You need kind of like not necessarily like a punch in the face, but maybe a slap in the face. Be like,
Mhm.
okay, let's get reality going. So I found that out. But then on the other hand, it helped with my confidence as a musician because I had only really heard opinions from my dad and my dad's friends or people that, from the time I was a kid, it was
Mhm.
like, when you're a kid, everyone thinks you're amazing because you're doing something. So it was kind of cool to have people be like, you're actually really good at what you do, and who weren't related to my dad and, people that I met when I was a kid.
Right.
So one of those people is Blair Packham, who has become a family friend of ours. And he taught me songwriting and I went into his class and I learned so much from him. Like the way that this man critiqued people's songs, the way that he talks about music and how his career has been in the industry. And we ended up becoming friends because I asked him if we could co-write a song. So I found that it was, it definitely the biggest thing that it did for me is kind of be like, okay, maybe I can do this. I can do this and it's gonna work out. Or it could.
Have you gone back to some of the songs that you wrote when you were in your like early to mid teens? And with the education you have now, you look at them and say, well, it's got some good bones there, but maybe I can work on it now with what I know. And
Yeah.
you revitalize some of those songs that were a little, I won't say rusty, but they were a little bit immature at the time. And now
Yeah.
with maturity and now with your education, you're able to massage them into something that is marketable.
I am a strong believer, and a lot of musicians will not agree with me, including my amazing friend Ella Frank,
Mhm.
is that I don't love going back to songs. I would rather just start something new. So the only song that I wrote when I was 16, or was I 15? No, I was 16. It's a song called Escort. And you can kind of like, if you really search through my stuff, you can find it. And there's like the original clip of just like right after I wrote it, I posted
Mhm.
it. That song I have a lot of faith in, and I went in to this thing actually that Blair Packham does. It's called Song Studio, and you have to bring your songs to these mentors, and they critique them. And that's the one song that everyone was like, "Oh, it's really great." And I kind of went back to it. But other than that, I don't believe in going back. I would rather just create more with the more knowledge that I have. So
Some of the artists that I've talked to, that Dick Cooper comes to mind. Now, Dick's celebrating 50 years since his very first hit with
amazing.
with the Cooper brothers,
Yeah.
and he talks about songs that he wrote in the past, and he said if you listen to the song today, it sounds nothing like 10 years ago when I wrote it because he keeps updating it. Like this,
Yeah.
it was a good song, but he keeps updating it. He
Yeah.
might change a couple of chords, he might change a riff, he might change a little thing
Yeah.
like that. Is it something that you think you may do in the future now that you've got some maturity in your writing skills that you
Yeah.
might say, that was a great song. I've been doing it for 10 years now. I'm a little bored with it because I play
Yeah.
it every week for 10 years. Maybe
Yeah.
I can zhuzh it up a little bit.
I feel like I wouldn't necessarily if I was gonna do that, and that could be totally something I do in the future because I get sick of songs so fast. And you can ask my father. Yeah, we'll play one for 2 weeks and I'll be like, oh, I'm done with it. Which is really bad, and I need to get used to actually playing the same stuff. Um, I find that if I was gonna like rewrite it, I would just rearrange it. That's something that my dad and I love to do is so if we have a song that's just like not 100% there, just finding a new way of playing it, which is also something I kind of learned in school. It's just kind of finding ways to reinvent what you already have. And if it's really not working, then then it's not maybe necessarily the best song for you.
Mhm.
So I think that's kind of how I think of it. Just rearranging is like better than maybe rewriting because I'd rather just write something new.
Let's get
Very
into one
fun.
of the songs that Siobhan wrote. This song was released in November of 2024 and co-written with Brent Bodrug and Talia Drennan. Let's take a listen to singer-songwriter Siobhan Bodrug and her song Undertow.
Never ever will I ever be satisfied. Never wanna beat the drama. Let me live my life. For tomorrow, you're the sorrow. Pleaded and cried, but now I've got a good thing going on without you here. I've got a good thing going on. Hope you know that I will miss your attitude. Your attitude. Hope you know that I have grown from your attitude. Your attitude. And it ain't gonna happen again. And it ain't gonna happen again. Kinda hate you, taunt and bait you. This is goodbye. Made up stories for the glory. Cheated and lied. You got me going. Tell me no it wrong, but what's right? But now I've got a good thing going on without you here. I've got a good thing going on. Hope you know that I will miss your attitude. Your attitude. Hope you know that I have grown from your attitude. Your attitude. And it ain't gonna happen again. And it ain't gonna happen again. Hope you know that I won't miss your attitude. Your attitude. Hope you know that I have grown from your attitude. Your attitude. Hope you know that I will miss your attitude. Your attitude. Hope you know that I have grown from your attitude. Your attitude. And it ain't gonna happen again, yeah. And it ain't gonna happen again.
That was Undertow by Siobhan Bodrug. Siobhan, tell us about what that song's about and what was the inspiration to write it.
So I was 15 years old, and I had just moved into this wonderful house in downtown Toronto with my dad's partner, Sarah, and her wonderful daughter, Talia, who is a co-writer on the song. And as a 15-year-old, I really wanted to be cool. And so I had to associate myself with really cool, but what I found out later, very toxic people. And so I had this one friend, and he just blew up our friendship over, I don't even remember. And we were sitting in my living room and we were talking about this guy. And obviously, I picked up a guitar and we started writing the song. And we were just it was really awesome because me, my dad, and Talia were just talking about the relationship and how it or the friendship, and then kind of how it evolved and how it ended. And we kind of just wrote Undertow, and it's about toxic friend dynamics and having someone constantly bring you down. And this song has had so many different versions, and this is, I think, the best one that my dad and I and Talia did.
Siobhan, how do people find out more about you and your music? What's the website? What are the socials and the streaming platforms?
At Siobhan Bodrug Music, SIOBHANBODRUG Music. My name is really complicated, but it's worth checking me out.
We have been in conversation with Siobhan Bodrug. Siobhan, thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me. This is awesome.